Welcome to In Conversation with Victor C. And now I'm going to introduce Victor C to you. Victor, the program is now yours. Victor? Victor? I have him on.
I'm here, Bishop. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. The show is now, I'm turning it over into the capable hands of Victor C.
All righty. Good evening, and welcome back to those of you who are able to get on board here tonight. Trying out a new format. Having so many issues with Blog Talk Radio, and the problem has just gotten a bit too much. It seems like every time, as me and Bishop was discussing, every time an important topic would come up, Blog Talk would all of a sudden have all these issues and problems. So last week, Bishop did his program the Wednesday, a week ago this past Wednesday on Blog Talk. Valerie was able to do the Judge Joe Brown show on Blog Talk. And Michael Gay, who's out of Atlanta, Georgia, was able to do his Blog Talk program. So Sunday, when it came time for me to do my program, couldn't get in. So Bishop was having all kind of troubles. Not quite sure how long I'm gonna be here tonight. A lot of stuff going on. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. But as we get into the program, I wanna go ahead and read the Copyrights Act, and it goes copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. And one of the things, certainly, as being the music lover that I am, we weren't able to do the intro music, so which is fine because we're trying out this format, and to see how it works. In fact, Bishop called me just a few minutes ago. I was on with my sister. She told me this is probably a better format for you anyway, and I said maybe so. I said I'm giving it an opportunity. I give it a chance. So certainly we're going to definitely do that because there's a lot of things going on tonight. A lot of things going on in our world, in and around our world, and the impact of the events over the last couple of weeks. It's really, I don't really even have the right words I want to say without, getting belligerent because we had the attempted assassination a week ago this past Saturday of President Donald Trump. And of course, The Simpsons always give you a prediction of things to happen. Of course, one of the things that I remember of The Simpsons and the prediction they made was the death of Prince. Then they did a show where they had the death of Donald Trump. But as I listened to a lot of black folk, melanated people, African Americans, however you want to categorize us, speaking about these events, because as you all know today, Joe Biden has decided not to run for a second term. So that on that side of the aisle is just an unmitigated disaster, especially in terms of how these people have been running the country. But see, there's a cabal that has been running our country for a long time. And as I try to explain to family members and friends and try to get them to understand, this cabal is not just a cabal in this nation. This is an international cabal. And as a person who's a blood-bought, born-again, baptized believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, one of the things that I do know, based upon what the Bible has told us, is that we live in these end times and that the days are coming when there will be a 7-year tribulation period. We know that the Antichrist is somewhere in the wings waiting to be revealed. I'm not sure if it's the revealing of the Antichrist will be before the rapture of the church or after the rapture of the church. I know a lot of people don't believe that there's going to be a rapture or whatever the case might be. And that's fine. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe. I believe that there's going to be a rapture of the church. However, as we're looking at what's going on out there, the cabal, the globalists, the satanic world orders, which is what I call it, are scrambling. They are fighting hard. It's almost like having to corner a groundhog or a wild animal. There's certain animals you absolutely do not want to corner because you will get ripped up and shredded and torn apart. But the thing I've been trying to impress upon people for a while now, especially as we got into 2024, is the fact that there's going to be all kind of events happening. And I'm somewhat surprised, though. You know, gradually things are happening. Some things are taking place, but not on the scale in which I thought they would be happening. I was expecting a lot more stuff along the lines of 2020, even, and it would be 2020 2.0, 3.0, 5.0, wherever. So far, it has been, not to that degree and the reason why I say that, things are happening, don't get me wrong. We had the assassination attempt of President Trump, and we've known for a long time when the man took office that they were going to try to take him out. And people and the sad reality is that people don't really understand what's going on. The Democrats and the media, the globalists, those in the cabal or puppets for the cabal are telling folks that, Trump is a threat to democracy and, he's going to tear this nation apart and yada, yada, yada. And certainly Trump is a very, egotistical, bombastic person. He speaks his mind. And a lot of people don't like that. And what we have in Donald Trump, because I was watching something that they were talking, and the title of the video was, "Why do they hate him so much?" But I understood and knew what it was all about prior to watching that video. And the thing I had an opportunity to do this past Friday and even some of the day yesterday was just go back and listen and watch some of the Trump interviews from the 80s and the 90s. And you'll find that Trump back then was just talking about how stupid our government officials are, the things that they were allowing to happen. The only thing I disagree with him on is that this was not stupidity. This was the absolute deliberate sellout of the nation. As he called out, like during the 80s, his interview, you got to go and watch the interview he had with Oprah Winfrey, who was a friend of his, right? And, they were talking about his run towards the presidency. And one of the things that Donald Trump was talking about was Japan. At that time, if you remember, the big three here in America was going through a lot of issues. I think it was Lee Iacocca. I think it's Iacocca. I don't know. Is that what it is? Bishop Lee Iacocca?
Lee Iacocca.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let
Cher's here too. Shannon is here.
Nurse Dawson.
Shannon is here.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and
let
these folks in.
They're in. They're just not mute. They aren't unmuted yet, but they're here. Let me try to unmute them.
Okay. Because Trump was talking about how in the 80s, back in the 80s when he was being interviewed with Oprah Winfrey, about how how Japan was taking advantage of us, government officials were allowing to happen. Like I said, as I was stating, the big three was going through a lot of issues at that particular time. And I know a lot of people who worked. So here in Northeastern Ohio, here in Cleveland, they had a Chevrolet plant here. There was the Ford plant in Brook Park. Twinsburg had Chrysler, and Lordstown had a huge GM plant over there. And I think the Chevy plant in Cleveland over on the west side was a stamping plant. But Ford, Chrysler, now I have never been to the Chrysler plant anywhere near, around the facility to actually see it. I saw Lordstown, and I actually, during work as a construction worker, I went into the Brook Park plant, the Ford Brook Park plant, and we were doing some maintenance work there, and I had an opportunity to go up there a couple of times and work in that plant. It was, good work there for those of us in the construction industry. But during that time of the 80s, Japan was selling a lot of vehicles here. And we had governmental policies that opened the door to a lot of that stuff that was going on. Trump was talking about that then. Then as, time went along, eventually Japan collapsed, and then we began to see the rise of China. And so particular during the Bill Clinton administration, there was a former Secret Service agent, I can't think of his name right now. There was somebody that wrote a book called The Year of the Rat. And that book was about President Bill Clinton selling the country out to China and selling out some of our top secrets to China during that time. So we continuously watched China rise, and and even during that time, and even leading up to the election of Barack Obama, Donald Trump was out there saying this stuff is crazy. This is insane. They're allowing China to manipulate our currency. We're sending our manufacturing to China. I think Trump just mentioned, as the auto industry is getting ready to take a turn for the worse, especially if Trump doesn't become president again. China's currently building plants over in Mexico right now, which is where all of the fentanyl and all of these illegal opium and all of that stuff is coming in from China through Mexico. And it doesn't help us, especially when we have people in our government who want wide open borders. But this is a part of this open society thing that Mr. George Soros got going on. He's got an organization called the Open Society Institute, and they are literally about open societies. In other words, a one world order. I won't call it a new world order, but as Pastor Adrian Rogers said many years ago, as he was doing a biblical study on the New World Order, he called it the Old World Disorder. And that's exactly what it is. It's all about disorder. And I think it was the communists. And maybe Bianchi can correct me. Or maybe you can, Bishop, if I'm wrong, that
hold on, Victor.
Chaos.
Victor, can I interrupt just a moment? I'm trying to reach Pianki and Cher. Their mic is muted, and I don't know why it's muted. The StreamYard.
We hear Bishop. We
Oh,
on
you're here.
mute.
Good, Cher. That's great. That's good. Pianki, please do the same. Unmute yourself.
He probably cooked him some greens and he probably eating plate of greens now. So,
well, unmute yourself, Cher. You can unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. I was gonna wait till Victor finish when y'all call on me.
Okay. No, I'm just kind of.
Oh, okay.
We had to change up our format a little bit, somewhat.
On my Bluetooth then.
My wife is texting me, and people are texting me saying they can't get in. So I don't know if you don't have a Google account, you can't. I don't think you can get in. But as we look at what's happening, Nurse Dawson, with the events certainly over the last couple of weeks, we had the RNC convention, and of course, we had prior to that the assassination attempt, and then we had today Joe Biden, bowing out of a second bid for the White House. So now the question is, who's going to step up and take that and become the nominee for the Democrat Party? And there's a lot of speculation going on out there as to who it is.
I find it curious, Victor, that many of the powerhouses are trying to back. Certainly, Hillary and Bill are backing Kamala to be the nominee. But it's interesting that neither Barack nor Michelle are at this point. So I think it's going to be an open convention. You have so many people. You got Newsom. You have some others that were trying to be the nominees, certainly. And so it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be an even more interesting convention than was the Republicans. It takes me back to 1968 when, once again, Chicago, that was the most controversial Democratic National Convention. You remember that historically, things that happened at that convention, the riots outside and the all the things that were the seating of the delegates and all of this stuff that was happening. And I look at it once again in the city of Chicago, another precedent will be set. Here we were anticipating Joe Biden becoming the nominee, and now here we are. I think the floodgates are open. I think the options are there. There's no guarantee that Kamala will get the support that she's anticipating.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what all these sisters going to do when Kamala doesn't get it. I mean, it's not guaranteed that she will, and it's not guaranteed that she won't. A lot of speculation about Michelle Obama. I don't even know if she really wants that. Here's the question I have always pondered in my mind, and maybe I've mentioned it on several occasions, and maybe Nurse Dawson can answer it. And Pianki, when she's finished, you can jump in also. Nurse Dawson, what's going to be done differently than that which hasn't always been done? Who's going to do something different than what Biden did? I mean, really, Biden's presidency was Obama's third term. I'm thoroughly convinced that, Obama and the people around him were orchestrating all of the events and the policies of this current White House. I think Biden and his wife, Jill, were just enjoying the idea of president and first lady with all of the prestige and all of the wonderful accolades that come along with being the president and the first lady, especially the first lady. Melania Trump was probably the only first lady that just got, she got ditched by, pretty much all of the fashion magazines. And and we all know she's a very fashionable lady, but she got ditched. But what do you, no matter who it is there anybody you think is going to turn the corner, do something a little different than what has already been done over the last 3.5 years, Nurse Dawson?
No. If you think it's coming from the Democrat Party, absolutely not. We let's just go to the all of the nominations they've had.
Are you on speaker? Are you on speaker?
Here, can you hear me?
No, barely.
Really, I'm trying to hook up my Bluetooth because it seems better that way on StreamYard. You know, somehow it's not connected. I'm gonna have to log come out and come back in.
Okay.
That's weird. It's not. Huh.
I hear it pretty good now.
Yeah, I can hear you good now.
I turned up the volume. I've turned up the volume to the max. So
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. No, I was saying, we can go back to all the Democratic, nominations when they're running. Like Bernie Sanders, he was snubbed by Hillary Clinton, even though he was leading. Then he got snubbed again by Jim Crow Joe Biden, right? So they've had some issues in their party regardless because I guess they can't play fair. So to me, I'm like Malcolm X, the chickens have come home to roost. But anyway, they should have let it been. Remember, they didn't let Robert F. Kennedy in. They didn't let Marion Williamson in. They didn't let the other gentleman in who were trying to run on a Democratic ticket. Remember, Robert Kennedy had to drop off as an independent. So now you stuck with Jim Crow Joe Biden which they knew this man had cognitive issues. I don't think what they underestimated and me being in the medical field and a nurse, they underestimated the rapidness and the fast side effects from those cognitive issues. And it can happen like that. Sometimes it's slow, but it's still a gradual decline. 4 years if it was starting when he was in his basement already. Okay, 4 years. Yeah, it's running its course now. So what are they going to do different? Nothing. Kamala, your ratings, she has one of the lowest ratings as VP ever. Jim Crow Joe Biden has one of the lowest ratings as president ever. They were just the front guys or front woman, right? So she finna get whooped by Trump via landslide, even though Biden was going to get whooped by Trump being a landslide. So right now they all infighting. But what are they going to do better? Nothing. Because they're still handled by their handlers. I mean, with record high inflation, unemployment, job loss, people can't afford to buy a home, barely can put gas in their vehicles. They're not for the American people. Or electric bills are high.
Hold that thought. Hold your thought. Because you just mentioned something about home, being able to afford a home. And see, this goes right back to what I was saying about Trump's interviews. If you go back and listen to his interviews with Larry King or Oprah, he talked about how these policies our government has implemented. Because remember, everybody says, well, he's a racist because he wouldn't let black folks stay in his apartment building, right? Well, what I learned about that was that it wasn't just Donald Trump that the United States Justice Department sued. It was a broad sweeping class action lawsuit against the landlords of New York because literally what Trump and others were doing, they were building high-rise luxury apartments to which they were catering to a certain clientele that could pay thousands of dollars a month for, to live there. And on the other hand, you had the state of New York that wanted them to turn these places into Section 8 housing. So Trump and others, they were building low-income and mid-income homes in various areas of New York for people to live in. But even that got stifled by government policy. So I wanted to throw that in because Nurse Dawson, I'm trying to strike this parallel between Trump then, when everybody was liking him, including Oprah and all of these folks.
The Clintons loved him.
Yeah,
The Clintons loved him.
He always donated money to Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but I'm trying to draw this parallel between him then and him now in terms of his conversation about what the country should be doing and what he would do as president if he would become president of the United States. And everything is right and exact to the T.
But you're not getting it, Victor. What it is, what you're not getting, they wanted Trump to stay in his place. What I mean by staying in his place, continue to do what he doing, right? Be on national TV when he had The Apprentice, right? Be a business real estate mogul, correct? Right? Even though he know the deepest, darkest secrets of the Democrat Party and a lot with the Republican, because see, that's why Trump really was a threat. He knows Hillary and them and all them deepest, darkest secrets. He used to hang around and be in those little groups with the Democrat Party. And Trump, for the record, he's really not a Republican. For the record, Trump really is an independent. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. But we know you have to pick a ticket in a party, right? So he picked the Republican Party. So Trump is more so a threat, and he's been a threat. Why do they attack Trump? Because Trump tells the deepest, darkest secrets that the government and the deep state doesn't want us to know. That's why he's a threat. He's a threat because he knows how they've actually stole from this country, i.e., Bill Clinton. Like you said, we talk about the NAFTA deal, another deal that George Bush and them did, another deal with right now with them sending our jobs over to Mexico for the automobile manufacturing companies that he's trying to bring back. Another deal, when Trump was in office, I remember American Standard. This was Trump was in office in 2017. American Standard, y'all know the people that build AC units, right? They were trying to send their manufacturing over to Mexico, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Trump said, if you do that and you and American people lose their jobs, you're going to be taxed at, he said, every air conditioner you bring here, what did he put, like a 22 or 40% tax rate plus another fee to bring it, and that stop and that save American jobs. Just like this big steel company that just brought out by Japan, that would have never happened under Trump. Look at all these people finna lose their jobs. Just like our governor here, he's making deals with Taiwan, Japan, all them about the chip manufacturing and whatever other technology. They got mad at him when he went to Taiwan, and they told him, well, we need you to support in Washington, get with your state house reps, your state senators support, and get them to sign this act that allowed 15,000 Taiwan people to come here and work. You know what Governor Abbott said? Oh, no, I'm going to just focus on local and state politics. That's the best answer he could ever get. Why? It's America first. It's American jobs first. So when we talk about Social Security going insolvent, when we talk about Medicare going insolvent, you're having illegals to avoid the luxury of what we paid into. And they don't like Trump like that. Why? Because he calls it out. He shoots straight from the hip. I'm not saying he perfect because they all lie. You don't supposed to let the American people know they're being robbed. You don't supposed to let the American people know their jobs are being sent overseas. So that's the deal. And Kamala, she gonna take the fall for Jim Crow Joe Biden ruining the economy. They just like Obama had our brothers getting shot in the streets. Like I said on my Facebook Live, Jim Crow Joe Biden been using the sister girls with this DEI, and you see they losing their jobs left and right. So she just another cannon fodder to get the hell beat out of her by Trump and say, see, Joe, you kept your good standing. Kamala got whooped by Trump again. You're okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I ain't on that, Victor. It's all a ploy.
yeah. Pianki, is Pianki still there? And then Bernard
No,
come in.
he's still muted.
Pianki, unmute yourself, man, if you're there. Bernard, unmute yourself.
Bernard is unmuted. Muted.
Yeah, what do you want? Yeah. Yeah, how you doing?
How you doing, Bernard?
I'm doing all
I
right.
had, I had stopped for a minute. I'm kind of piggybacking in between YouTube and on here because I usually up there at this time eating them on the move. So
Yeah, I'm here. I was talking to somebody.
Oh, okay. Hold on just a second, Pianki. Bernard was
something that
talking.
you mentioned.
I'll get to you just a second. Go ahead,
You
Bernard.
you mentioned something in the beginning about the Simpsons and the stuff like that, right? And you mentioned about Joe Biden dropping out. Well, I could have told you Joe Biden would drop out by the weekend because me and Frank was talking about it, that it was going to happen. And this is a leap year. If you know the science of numerology, what day was yesterday? July 20th. Normally, that's the 201st day of the year. But a leap year, you got one extra day. So you had to know that he was going to drop out around this time. The thing with Trump, July 13th. You already had to know that was a science symbols numerology date. That's why they picked that day to do it. All planned, all gained. Same thing with Miss Harris. You had to know, hey, they're gonna run this game. I mean, you got Van Jones on TV crying, talking about it's sad the way
He crying again?
he's crying
Oh my
about Joe
God!
Biden dropping out.
Damn it, a
He's
punk!
actually
I mean,
crying,
a baby.
sobbing, right? So you gotta understand, these people are all actors, man. Number one actor though is BlackRock, Jewish boy Larry Fink, BlackRock commercial. See, like this is his name. No, his name is Nathaniel Kaplan. They don't really worry about Donald Trump. They worry his followers that's mad. They can get the Trump anytime. That's
Well,
easy.
that's why I come out tell
That
people.
might be true.
That's why I come out
Yeah,
tell
Pianki.
people to get involved in things that they control. Then at least you're gonna be headed in the right direction in one thing. Like stocks. The two main ways to make money in this country is commercial real estate and stocks. And everybody should be involved in some kind of stock holdings. If you look at any company, go to Finance Yahoo and type in a company name or the stock symbol, and you can look at who the insiders are. And you got BlackRock, and these names that Bernard be talking about are always there. You're not gonna beat them. They too powerful. But what you should do, people should do, and I ain't telling them that to do it, but they should be in line with some of the things that these companies control. Hell, you do it with your people do it with their Snap card. Every time you use that Snap card, JP Morgan gets paid a percentage of your purchase.
Wow. They got this game figured out, and but I don't know if you heard me talking about Pianki back in the 80s, because I went back and I looked at some of the videos and the interviews that Trump did in the 80s, and pretty much everything he spoke about then were the very things that he ran on as president of the United States the first time around. The only difference then was that Japan was the country that's doing to us what China is currently doing now. The auto industry is going to take a hit. The bloodbath comment was he literally was talking about a bloodbath of the auto industry, which is going to take place. And here's another thing too, as I think about the primaries in Michigan, the Democrat Party's primaries in Michigan, 100,000 people voted uncommitted, right? And a lot of them were saying, well, there was all of this. People were saying all of this was the Muslims because of Israel and the Palestinians and all of that. But it wasn't all that. A lot of those folks that voted uncommitted were people who were in the auto industry in Michigan. As I understood it, I've listened to some folks talking about it, and I was checking it out, and they presented some stuff that was talking about that a lot of people in the automotive industry, because they are absolutely, a lot of them are absolutely opposed to this electric car phenomenon that they're trying to get us to advance to. And I'm sorry, I don't know about the rest of y'all. I don't want an electric car. I don't want one of those. So Trump is basically running on and running on what he's always said should be done. And I think he had a lot of success. This is why you see a lot of black folks in this country have jumped ship, and it's driving them crazy. And I'm telling y'all, and I've always believed this, we're going to be used in this country as cannon fodder. And I'm talking about black folks, to start a violent revolution. I think something, and Alex Jones was saying this not too long ago, but I always believe something
Color revolution.
is going to happen. Huh?
It's called the color revolution and the orange revolution. You can look at the color revolution.
Right. Well, all of this is because something has to happen. These people have to do any and everything they possibly can to keep Trump from getting into office. And while many family members and friends say, well, he's the devil, and I had a friend text me and said, well, I don't want to see anybody shot and all of that, but he's straight up the devil and all of that. And, he's a threat to democracy.
Well, ask him. Did you ask him how is that? Did you ask him what policies? What policies he don't like?
Well, here's the thing. I've asked these folks time and time again, and I've told them the reasons why. I said, now point out to me the things that he's done that has, even the things that you think that he's done that has been harmful to black folks in this country. And they always resort back to the Central Park Five in 1970s, when supposedly he wouldn't allow black folks to rent an apartment in his buildings. And I basically debunked all of that, because most black folks, I would say 99% of black folks in this country didn't even take the time to go back and look and actually read the New York Times article on the Central Park Five, supposedly on the Central Park Five, but it wasn't so much that he was talking about the Central Park Five. New York was a cesspool of crime in the streets of the city of the NYC. And people were being murdered, and a lot of rapes were going on, armed robberies and things of that nature. And people like Trump just had enough, and he wrote an article, and he did say in the article, people who commit crimes like those of the Central Park Five should face the death penalty also. But the overall article was about the crime in the city. It was out of control. New York City was absolutely out of control.
And another thing too, what do the Central Park Five have in common with the average quote unquote black person? Not nothing at all. Mm-hmm. Nothing whatsoever.
Well,
and wait a minute.
Go ahead.
You talk about the Central Park Five in New York. What about the Forest Park Five in St. Louis? That beat up and killed a white person, all 5 blacks. They ain't heard about that, have they? Oop.
No, it doesn't fit the narrative. And the other thing too is this idea that police officers are out there killing black folks. I told a friend of mine, I was like, well, there's 45 million black folk in this country. I said police officers patrol black neighborhoods, black communities every single day. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what's the rate, the murder rate, or the shooting rate of police officers of unarmed black men? That is very minuscule. But the thing is the media, they will continuously show you images of Darren Chauvin, things like Darren Chauvin with his knee on George Floyd's neck. Well, that made everybody mad. I don't know too many people that didn't get angry about that. But the psychological operation that was going on and the psychological manipulation that was taking place served its purpose. So now you hear even some of the more notable black folks on YouTube, content creators, talking about calling police race soldiers. I'm not saying that there aren't racist police officers on these police force, but I don't think there are police officers who go to work every single day with the mindset that they're going to go out there and murder somebody black today. I just don't believe that.
Well, Derek Chauvin didn't have his knee on George Floyd's neck. Of a camera angle said it was up against his shoulder blade. And besides that, that was a legal procedure that was okay to be performed in the police department. So I don't care. Why do people put so much emphasis on? Why do blacks put so much emphasis, seemingly, and not all of them, on negative things like crime and abortion, killing your baby? If blacks have a population of 45 million, what would it have been by now since 1972 when you don't had over 25 million babies killed? You killing babies right now at the rate of 800 per day. At one time it was 1,200. It was 1,200 a day, 50 an hour. Now, if a person want to kill their baby, that's up to them. All I'd say is that follow the law. If you call it a medical procedure, then the states is going to have some regulations over medical procedures, which they should, because people can get hurt with haphazard medical procedures.
Well, people are being hurt. Women are being hurt. Right there in Philadelphia, where Bishop is. I remember back in 2011, 12, somewhere around 14, maybe somewhere around there, Kermit Gosnell.
Oh yeah, that the guy something.
What's that?
What did he say about one baby? This is big enough to walk me to the bus stop.
Yeah, something crazy like that. I mean, and they said the women that got treated the worst by him were black women. And this was a black man.
So the thing is, I say that we have so much emphasis on things. And, on the Central Park 5, you had two of those guys. One, I think, name was, I can't think of his name. He was being interviewed in the police station with his parents with a parent with him. And he said, I felt her titties, but I didn't rape her. Well, he's an accomplice to whatever happened to that woman.
Yeah. I saw that because you can still see that on YouTube.
You can go to Wikipedia and you can read the whole case. And I really don't. I think it's a waste of time talking about that anyway.
Well, it is, but see, Pinocchio, what a lot of black folks say. What about the Central Park 5? How did that make him a racist? Because they were, accused of rape, and he thought in his mind they were guilty. Well, they got exonerated. He still never apologized.
But you know what, Victor? I'm like Bianchi in a sense, and you as well, and probably Bernard as well. My thing is, they may harp on that, but they forget the people that he's helped that crime bill that he produced, that released people that had been held prisoners sometimes as long as 20 and 30 years, and his efforts, and I'm not even talking about individual black folk that have stood up and said what he's done for them and things that he's done. Like you said earlier, people in Hollywood love the man. They love the man. He did so much for so many careers, bailed out people that were destitute, even people that were once celebrities that now were struggling. He would bail them out. He even put them on their program. Some of those people were really nothing at the point they were on that apprentice program. But he would put them on just to give them a few dollars, to get them notoriety, to put them back in the public eye again. I don't know how many people he has really helped. And then let's be fair about it. You know, there are a lot of things I don't agree with President Trump, but I believe in fairness. Don't lie about the man. Don't exaggerate. Because there's nobody, if you're going to be honest about it, there was nobody worse for African-American, male and female, than Joe Biden. Look at his long career, his 50-year career, not the 4 years or a few years. What Trump has only been in politics since 2015, officially 2016. This man has a career that spans 1973. Look at his record. Look at his record. So that's what I'm saying. Go side by side. I mean, this thing, you harp on one and you forget the other one. You say he's a racist, but Biden's not? Because he has a
clip I saw today about these black pastors and their support.
Oh my God!
Somebody did a montage. I sent it in the group. It's just, I mean, an absolute abomination. But I was going to ask you this though, Bishop. How is Trump supposedly a threat to democracy, and how is it going to destroy the country?
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. If you want to talk about, if you're talking about democracy, that's a hypocrisy right there. And you're talking about a threat to democracy. There's some things going on right now that's a threat to democracy, and it's been that way for quite a while, and it has not been under the Republican banner. Let's call a spade, if you will. Some of the things that are being done, illegal things. I think it's something against democracy in terms of teaching your children about sex things and homosexuality and that lifestyle and transitioning to. And where's the family? There is no family. You're weeding out the family. Either they're homosexual, they're transsexual, they're bisexual. All those things means there's not going to be any more development of your community, whether white or black. It ends now because there's no more husband and wife. That's passe. That's old fogey. That ain't even in the in crowd no more. The heroes now are the transgender boys competing with girls and in sports and all that. You're killing out the race all kinds of ways. And I'm not just talking about the black race. I'm talking about the human race. You're killing us out because nobody's having babies. Everybody's doing something crazy that will eliminate all of that.
That's part of the satanic agenda.
Of course it is.
Population depopulation program, and you know, they're running around here worrying about Project 2025. You know what's interesting about that?
And we're gonna talk about that Wednesday too.
Okay, but let me throw this at y'all, because this is what happened in a group that I'm in with some friends of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to find the text messages that we were going back and forth with about, especially in particular, a friend of mine's. He texted. What did he say? Good friend of mine. We have these discussions all the time. Thinking about him, I appreciate is that he respects my viewpoint. He doesn't agree with it at all, but where's it at? I'm in the ball yard. I just gotta find the base.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that one.
Let me see. Well, here it is. He said, Project 2025 will take us back to pre-1950. Trump and the Republicans on that. And of course, old feeble Biden is committing genocidal acts against our people in Palestine. Neither deserves leadership of this country. Both will be extremely dangerous to us. And he said, this is a setup. So I text back and I said, you worried about Project 2025. It's Agenda 2030. You better be concerned with, brought to you by the WEF. So what happened was the next day, Bernard had me on. Let me check out Darren Muhammad. The very next day was the same Darren Muhammad was talking about, and then that Sunday, the dude from I forget that dude. Bernard, you still there? Who was that dude to come on Sunday?
Darren Muhammad said that talking about Project 2025 is like talking about Sesame Street. You can talk about that. They let you talk about that, but you talk about BlackRock, they put a black screen on you play and say you spreading misinformation and block you.
And what's the guy's name that come on Sunday mornings?
Oh, Dry Bones, yeah.
Who? Dry Bones.
Valley of Dry Bones.
Yeah, and he basically said the same thing that I said 2 or 3 days prior. Now y'all running around here talking about Project 2025. What do y'all know about Agenda 2030, which was originally Agenda 2020?
Agenda 2020, 2030, 2021. They had one for 2021. They had the other one. But really, this all started under Jimmy Carter with the Trilateral Commission in 1976.
Right.
Well, you've had these foreign entities always have a notion to try to destroy down the fabric of the United States, but they can't do it because they can't supplant the U.S. Constitution. And the fact that states are independent countries, that's one thing that they can't overcome. They try all these devious schemes in that, but the only way that stuff works is people let it work.
See, that's the thing.
The globalists want to tear down and open up the United States as a market for foreign businesses. They always have. See, United States, everything used to be made in America, and everybody wanted what was made in America. So what happened is that the United States started allowing others to come to the U.S. and learn, especially technology. Then what do? They go back and build their stuff to compete against the United States, but they don't have no place to sell it because their nation is poverty stricken. See, you can come up with inventions overnight, but if you ain't got nobody to sell it to, well, what is it going to do? So it takes a long time to bring up your society to the place where you create what we call here middle classes. They just don't do that overnight. So what do they want? They want to have access to American markets. That's why China's got so many millionaires, because they manufacture the stuff you want: toasters, ironing boards, knives and forks, pots and pans. And that's a few people. In China, they got a whole city that all they do is electronics. You got a whole city that all they do is toasters and waffle irons. Oh, that's the way they set up over there. Now, when the United States stopped manufacturing and producing, that there is a detriment, because now you got to depend on others to sell you your discretionary items. Do an inventory in your house and see what all you have that's made in Russia. Nothing. What all you have that's made in China? A whole lot of stuff. Practically everything is made in China.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right. But the thing is, they are definitely making a play at us.
Yeah, they are. And
Ju-
people worrying about the US
Judge.
dollar. Other countries, they still don't have the ability to make and produce what's made in the United States. A country that's not electrified, in order to electrify, you got to have certain things, and they made in America. And the only way you can get them, you got to use US dollars. I don't care if China becomes the reserve currency, you still got to buy those things from the United States. And General Electric ain't gonna pay you no, not gonna sell you a generator. Caterpillar ain't gonna sell you a, a tractor unless it's with US dollars.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, they're trying in all facets. They're really trying. Because Judge Allen, she has said a couple of times that that George Soros has stated the United States is the only country standing in the way of the New World Order. And it's because of the founding documents. It's because there are people, and we still got people in government. Because as I was in church today, Pastor was giving everybody an opportunity to kind of express how they're feeling, particularly with the events of what happened last Saturday and a week ago this past Saturday. And, because pretty much, those that attend my church, I don't know how many are not, but most folks are supporting Trump. And, and Pastor made it clear that, hey, if this man if they had achieved assassinating him, the country would have blew up. And I believe he's exactly right. And
Well, I can say this. I can say
ahead.
this about it, Victor and Bishop.
Yes, sir.
Your God saved him. Now y'all know how I feel about religion, but I will say this, and you can pat me on the back. Your God saved him, kissed him on the cheek, caused him to move his head just enough.
Yeah, well, a lot of people believe it was divine intervention, and so it just wasn't his time. And and the thing is, he was raised, as far as I'm concerned, for a time such as this. People don't like the things he say, the tweets, and all of that. And they talk about Trump's rhetoric brought him to this point, and this, that, and the other. Well, what about y'all's rhetoric? What about the media's rhetoric? They're calling the man Hitler. He's going to be a dictator, taking every little word that he says and twisting it to say something that it didn't really mean. Oh, well, if you see those people from that cabinet and you go up to them, you create a crowd and you get in their face.
That's old Maxine.
They're not welcome.
That's Maxine.
Aunt Esther.
Yeah.
When they say that, ask them, well, how will that be accomplished? They don't know.
Oh, they do it. They did it.
No, wait a minute. That ain't what I'm talking about. How will he create a dictatorship? How is that going to be done?
The only way that could be done if Congress allows it. If the people allow it.
If the states allow that. Congress,
that's not going to happen.
Congress don't have anything to do with that.
But you know what? It does in a way. It does, because it'll stop a dictator. But this check and balance system. But let me say this about Donald Trump in terms of it's so insane, because we've had 4 years of Donald Trump. See that worked for Hillary, because Hillary, we never had a Donald Trump. We didn't know what Donald Trump would do. According to Hillary, he's going to push the button, going to do this, going to do all the propaganda stuff they use. Not even logical, but they wanted to scare folk. And our folk are easily scared because we know very little about anything, really. To be honest with you, sad commentary, but it's true. Too many of us don't know anything about anything. So if we say boo, we swear it's a boogeyman. So nevertheless, so we've had 4 years of Trump, okay? Did the country fall apart? Did democracy, as they call it, die? What really happened? I know what happened. I got something from the government I never had before, and that's thousands of dollars. I never got no $1,000 from no government. And he would have done better than that if it was up to him. It was Congress that limited how much we got during the pandemic. He wanted to give more than that. He wanted to be like England and other countries every month. Not every month.
And that was unconstitutional. What that was too.
But I'm saying, but you know, the whole thing. I'm talking about the man's intention. I don't care about Constitution or that book, right? I'm talking about the man's intention has always been to help the American people, no matter who you are. That's what I saw as a president. Now,
well,
you can say they say all kind of crap about him, but they wanted to get him from the time he came down that escalator rather. They wanted to get him from that point on, 2015, until now. They still doing it 10 years later.
His intention is to make things where Americans can help themselves. Remember what John F. Kennedy said? Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And that's one of the problems that's wrong with now is people want to depend on government and take from some group and give to the other. That ain't gonna work.
But see, that was the beauty about Trump's presidency. And that okay, you know, and I agreed with Rush Limbaugh and all of them back then during that time, that if the government is going to shut the country down in the manner in which they did, then the government should compensate the people for loss of jobs or whatever the case might be. Even though we know all of this was absolutely intentional in hopes that none of these jobs would come back and nobody would there wouldn't be any creation of businesses and so on and so forth. But see, this is why this phrase, American exceptionalism, is an offense to the Democrats and liberals and leftist progressives in this country, because exceptionalism has nothing to do with, oh, well, we're just better than everybody else. But what makes this country an exceptional country is the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and our Declaration of Independence. Not to mention our laissez-faire free market capitalistic system. Now, people always talk about capitalism. I never talk about capitalism because there is such a thing called crony capitalism. But when you talk about the free market capitalistic system, then that's what the Republicans and people like Donald Trump, this is what they're advocating for. So that people who want to start and own their own businesses, well, you got to create the types of goods and services that people want. If you build up a certain clientele and you become successful in it, then you're going to make a lot of money. Plain and simple. And that's what makes our country exceptional. This is why so many people all over the globe want to come here. We have an element that wants to tear it completely down. And they're doing it brick by brick. But they're running into a brick, but they actually are running, they tore the bricks down. Now they didn't hit a concrete wall. They're having these folks, in my opinion, they're having a hell of a time trying to tear the country down. It's not that easy.
Well,
it's hard.
Let me say something. Because you're talking about, I know you're talking about Constitution. It's not that easy to destroy the Constitution when you can get people that feel the way they feel. And you got UN peacekeepers on it. Because in reality, Victor, a lot of these people that you're saying, I told a lot of people, they don't want to come over here. They are actually more like prisoners of war. And also, they are being sent over here by the Roman Lutheran Catholic Church and the Jesuit Pope. So it's not that a lot of them want to come here. They already been forced here. Through trafficking and so forth and like. As a matter of fact, come to think about it, over the last couple of days in Richmond, Virginia, we had a girl missing, but she was found today. She was 14 years old. Her name was Mosby. She was 5'6". She had been missing for a couple of days. They did find her today. Matter of fact, an apartment complex right down the street from me, right? There's a lot of missing girls going on around here. Yeah. She got found in St. John Wood. They ain't nothing but 7 minutes from me. I can hop in my car.
Did they find her alive or dead? I didn't hear.
She was alive.
She what?
She was alive. She was 14 years old.
What'd she do? Run away from home?
I don't know what she did. But there's been a lot of girls around this area missing the last couple of days. I know they had, yeah.
Bishop,
You hear me?
you there?
Yes.
What happened to Bernard?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I asked you what
I don't
happened to that young girl. Was she?
I don't know. They just had posters and billboards talking about she was missing, but they found her today in an apartment complex called St. John Woods, and that's right down the street. Matter of fact, it's right behind a food line. Now it is a school over there and things. Maybe she ran away from home or was online and met a guy or something. You know, I don't know what happened, but I know she was missing for days because they at least 3 or 4 days because they had put posters out and looking for her daughter. I mean, we had one girl a couple years ago named Keisha Jacobs. She was missing for 7 years, and they finally announced her dead this year, early in the year. So I mean, been a whole lot of mysterious cases going on. So you have people that are sent here that are prisoners of war. And matter of fact, a lot of these immigrants coming over here now are not prisoners that have become UN peacekeepers, and they are going to what? Dismantle the American government by what? Putting the country in a state of martial law. COVID was a state of martial law that all these politicians went along with, for the most part. So if you look at it, they are now October 2nd through 4th. They're coming back with the bird flu. So they're going to probably try to cancel the election. And this is so people don't go along with it. Now, we don't got to go along with it. You relying on government Trump, anybody, they can't do nothing because this is way more powerful than them. There's something going to be right there in Washington. No, it's in Pentagon City. It's like between Virginia and Washington, D.C. They come October 2nd and 4th, coming through the bird flu summit. So don't be surprised if they shut down the 2024 election.
Well,
that's what they love to do.
In the state of Louisiana say that
Go ahead, Bianchi.
the state of Louisiana said that the requirement of vaccination cannot preclude your enrollment in schools or institutions in this state. In other words, you cannot or eating in a restaurant, you cannot require people to do that in this state. Now, if other states won't allow that unconstitutional stuff to go on, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, let me say something about that. Because that's good. You saying cannot require, but when you scare people, they do it anyway.
Yeah, but that's the people doing it. What I'm saying is that governments can't force you to do that. People drive.
We just had
people drive faster than the speed limit, huh?
Wasn't there a court ruling that just came out last month or two where they stated that they couldn't, that the so-called vaccines were not vaccines, and the government can't compel people to take them?
The government can't. The government is not. It can't make people get involved with anything commercial. Government can't say you got to go out and buy a Toyota car. They can't say that you got to buy chocolate milk.
You're right. Now, let me tell you one thing about the incident that happened here. That a couple of 3-4 years ago. Matter of fact, during COVID, we had a store up the street, and a guy tried to walk in the store. They told him you ain't got no mask on. He was like, okay, cool. And he was like, I'm still going to the store because I don't have to wear no mask. Well, the police grabbed him, put handcuffs on him, and put him back in his car. They said you can't go in the store without no mask.
Well, now a store can tell you you can't come in here without any shoes or a shirt. They can do that. You coming into their space, but the government can't tell you that.
Yeah.
You're right, but the government is the one that's influencing that policy for them to do that. And
that's some y'all. You see, y'all got the thing all mixed up. The government courts can't make laws. Supreme Court can't make a law and say, Bernard, you got to buy Nike tennis shoes. They can't do that. The only entities that can make laws, now there's rules,
Congress.
but laws is Congress and your state legislatures. Who have the leverage over the other? It's your states. Your states is more powerful than the federal government.
Okay, but aren't they taking? But aren't these people taking money from these entities to do that?
Judas done the same thing, didn't he?
Exactly. So
Well, you have
that's
people
where
that
your
do that,
problem.
Juvenile.
That's where your problem lies with state politicians going along with it.
And then that's where you need to punish them. You need to whoop their butts.
How you gonna punish them? You don't know nothing about it. Like Bishop just told you, we know very little of anything. So how you gonna
Well,
punish them if most of the people don't know nothing about it?
They need to know it.
You
All
tell them, they
government
don't do it.
officials, whether you police, whether you elected official, you on the school board, they should be required to pass a course in the U.S. Constitution and pass with at least an
That's
80
true.
percentile. Now
Okay.
let me tell you this: immigrants do it.
Is that well? I'm about to say that, but yeah, that's right.
Immigrants have to know that and be able to pass a test.
They
So
know the Constitution better than you do.
you're absolutely right. Before they can get their green card or become citizens.
Mhm. Yep. I had a. It's mighty funny you said that. I used to talk to a girl, and she said, "I got to take my test. I had to take a test and all that, so they do know it better than you do for the most part." That is exactly right. That's very true. Well, like today, 2 people was in the store wearing a mask today. I'm like, damn, it's 2024. Y'all still got the mask on? Come on, man.
They can wear it if they want to, or a store can make you put it on to come in their store. If that's what the owner.
The other thing too, though, they're trying to tell us that COVID numbers are rising again.
I told you that.
So, well, how do we know it's COVID though? I mean,
Well,
somebody gets sniffles and cough, and you go take you go ram that thing up your damn nose.
mm-hmm. You know the thing about that, like Bernard say,
gonna come back positive.
the thing about that, Victor, and we all talk about that all the time. The thing about that is they scare people. Human beings are naturally, everything's naturally afraid. But human beings is naturally afraid. Why is that? Because they don't want to die. So they scared. Well, when we was kids, you wouldn't go down in a dark basement. You wouldn't go down them steps until we learned that the switch to our left up on the wall turned the light on. Then we go down there. Hell, ain't nothing down here. What we scared of? If that light go out by itself, we break our necks coming up them damn steps.
I don't know what you talking about, Bianca. I like to go outside walking late at night and stuff in the dark, man. Look, I like to look at the movies.
Wait a minute. You know why? Thank you. You know why you like it? Because you ain't met something you can't deal with. That's why you like it.
That's why, for now, exactly. Say that again, Bianca. Shit, ain't no way. Now, if I got my dog, my big old dog, and my pistol, yeah. But other than that, heck no.
Hey, look. Hey, Bianca. I be going to the park at night. Sometimes these friends could be guys, sometimes be girls go walk in the park and we talk these same conversations at night. Walk around with me. If it's guys, both guys got a pistol, and if it's a woman, I done had a woman walk out there with a pistol with me too. Hey, look, that's how you gotta handle it.
You're damn right. But I tell you what you ain't never done, because I don't know all about your life. You ain't never been in an environment at night where you can't see your hand in front of your face.
Well, that might be true right there. I mean, except during Hurricane Isabel for 2 weeks. We did have it like that when we didn't have power for 2 weeks.
But you got we live in an area where you got city lights and all that stuff. But go in areas of the world where you don't have that. And you don't, I mean, it's cloudy, so you can't see the stars, the light up, the moon. And so you're in a place where you can't see your hand in front of your face.
Don't talk too soon, though, because they are doing all these outages and stuff. So don't talk too soon now.
I just wanted to, share that with you. I've been in Ethiopia, and I came out of the building.
He's saying be careful.
I came out of the building where he had a lecture, Victor. And I stepped out the building, out the door, and looking ahead of me. Then I looked over my shoulder, and I had to duck because I thought I was going to bump my head in a star. They so big, and the air is so clear in that part of the world. So
Mm.
there's places in this world you ain't never been, and you go there, it change your whole perspective of reality. But
Right.
no, what they try to do is destroy this company by getting rid of the Constitution. If we didn't have no
That's
U.S.
right.
Constitution,
That's
if you could
right.
turn it off, you could kill people around you. Ain't no law against
And,
that.
and yeah, and get away with it. Which is why they don't like the Supreme Court, because it holds up the Constitution.
The Supreme Court holds up the Constitution and its job. They
Mhm.
don't make laws, but they will interpret a law to see if
Correct.
it is constitutional or not.
Correct.
And then they have to do that. And listen to me. Congress passed a law. That law comes under one of the 50 standing statutes of the United States. They have 50 of them, just so happen. Number 26 is the IRS. Number 14 is the Federal Aviation Commission. Number 42 is immigration. So when they pass the law that's supposed to apply to aviation, that law goes to the head of the FAA, and he would read the law. And based on what he thinks the law is saying, he will implement rules applying to aviation. Now, here come Victor, or here come Bishop. And Bishop has to do something to his airplane that the head of the FAA said, you got to do this. And Bishop said, no, I ain't doing it. That ain't what the law says. At that point in time, you go to the courts. And they interpret the law, interpret the rule, and say, well, your rule is not following the law. Therefore, it's unconstitutional. That's how that stuff works. If you go to one court, the court agree against you, you go to another court. And you go to another court until you finally work your way up to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court don't have to take the case. Many times they don't.
Right, exactly. Well, going around the table, who do you all think will fill in for Biden? Nurse Dawson, I would start with you. Who do you think they're gonna get? Or who's gonna
Well, they saying Kamala, if not Hillary, or they might do Kamala for the president and then Hillary for the VP. And in circumstance, whatever, some miracle happening, throw Kamala out and Hillary the president again. That's my opinion.
Okay. So you think that's a setup because, Hillary has always wanted to be president. And
Yeah,
God knows where we would be had that woman won in 2016.
I know.
I
don't mean to laugh. It's just funny how you said it. But yeah, that's me, Victor, because I heard Obama and them not supporting Kamala, but Hillary and Bill is. Yeah.
Right.
So that's my opinion.
I can say something about this.
Well, I think I don't think it's going to be a Hillary. I think that would be a death toll on this. First of all, I don't think there'll be no two women. I don't think it'll be a president and a vice president. I just don't see that we've advanced that far. Even the Democrats, I think, would know that would be a killer diller. Hillary failed before. Hillary would just kill this ticket. I'm going to tell you, she would kill it to death. That's my opinion. I think it's going to be. I think you're right, Nurse Dawson. I think it will be. It's possible Hillary. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. Some of the ones that were part of the in crowd before that Buttigieg, whatever the name is.
Buttigieg. Yeah, Buttigieg.
You got Newsom. I mean, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. The dark horse, Hillary. I mean, Michelle said she didn't want it before. She's been saying it. That's largely because Biden was in it. There's gonna be a lot more people speaking up in wanting to try to get this thing. Now that Biden's out of it altogether, they didn't want to contend with that, pushing old man Biden out. So what they did was they just hoped that maybe something would happen. And I believe Bernard is right too, that all of this is set up I think that they knew about. That's why Obama did. You notice in the beginning, Obama did not endorse his own vice president in the beginning of the race. In 2020, he did not endorse. He was the last one to finally come over. And part of it, I think he came over.
Oh, you talking about endorse Biden? You mean endorse Biden, right?
Yeah, right. Obama endorsing Biden.
There you
Obama
go.
did not endorse Biden in the beginning.
That's
As
true.
we well know, he drug his feet on it. In fact, some said he had actually wanted Biden not to run, and Biden's insisted on running. So,
Well, let me ask you
say
this.
this. I'm through. Let me say this part. I think the tide turned when they realized that Biden had already had significant cognitive challenges, and that they would be able to manipulate him and actually run, like you said, and we've all said it, have a Biden Obama 0.222
2.0.
exactly. And it really, I say this: Obama's had 3 terms. He's been president more than anybody but Franklin Roosevelt. And if his wife does become the nominee, he'll be the president longer than Franklin Roosevelt.
I'm gonna ask Ms. Doss this question. You should be able to answer this. Why come Newsom can't be the vice president to Kamala?
He could. They're both Californian.
Nah, I don't think they from Cali. Well, BJ, you didn't give me a chance to answer. My gosh. Because I was saying I knew that from Trump and DeSantis when that happened. But yeah, Bianca, because they both live in the same state.
That's right.
So that can't happen. But I'll tell you what, let me ask y'all this, Bianca and Bishop. I remember one of my students that was in my tutoring program, his dad was dropping me off some coolers because of the event we had in the community. And he was like, don't worry. A lot of people think Hillary gonna win, but she really ain't gonna win. Now he ain't political, nothing like that. He said, I'm just telling you about how the things are ran as a hierarchy. And so he was saying she's not going to win because America's not ready for a woman president. Do y'all think they had something? Not to say Trump wasn't a good candidate, because people did want something different. And she so-called claim got the popular vote. Do y'all think that played a role in her also losing in 2016?
Well, it has something to do with it, yes. I don't think Hillary's. I don't think the people's gonna vote for her.
Oh no!
And then again, too, we got to remember once again, it's what that party want. It's what
they don't want Hillary. They don't want Hillary back again. They don't want Hillary.
But see, when you say they, it's what the party.
Well, they are the party, aren't they? Who's the they? But the party.
The Republican National. I mean, the Democratic National Party is the one that they're gonna put up for election.
Okay,
as president, and the states have to approve it. That's the. It don't matter what the voters vote for. It's the party.
Delegates you talking about,
right? It's the state delegates.
At this point, there's no. At this point, they're trying to find who's gonna be the nominee. You're not even talking about the electorate. We have nothing to do with this.
They can do that too.
In August in Chicago, that's going to determine that. Not
when them states come up on the floor and they say the great state of Illinois casts its delegates for, well, that's the states that's
Bianchi, and saying what Victor said. In that, what do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to be the nominee?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay.
I don't think Michelle is going to do it because she don't want. Michelle put too much money keeping her hair nice, and her hair would turn white.
Oh yeah, it would turn gray. Yeah, look at her husband. His hair.
Well, actually, I just getting back because I had muted because I went in the other room, but packing some stuff. But actually, to tell you the truth, they already got voter registration things going around Michigan with Michelle Obama face on it. So they don't have to. They don't. She don't have to. If they tell Michelle Obama run, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do what the donors tell them. Number one, the only reason why Biden dropped out because the donors were holding $95 million, and BlackRock had already said they were not going to endorse Biden.
Well,
so they tell them what to do. Yeah, it's not the other way around. The voters don't have nothing to do with it. These donors tell them what to do. Matter of fact, speaking of donors, the donors for Nikki Haley is back. Just came out and said they're gonna back Kamala Harris. So go figure that out.
Dawes, you stay in Texas. What was that woman that ran for governor or something in Texas? Richardson.
Ann Richardson. Yeah.
Ann Richardson had billions of dollars
Yeah.
and the people didn't elect her. Bernard. So that's may sound like it worked that way, but it really don't. You can waste money. If people say hell no, you don't waste your money if that's what your money is for.
But now you said governor, right? Now check this out. These people is rigging their own primary though. So that go to show you. They didn't even have a primary, or actual primary. So it's real easy to do it. Now you were talking about Biden. Bishop, you made a comment about Biden. Actually, tell you, Biden did not say he was stepping down. He said that he will not seek re-election. As a matter of fact, when Biden first got in office, he even said that he was going to be a transition candidate. So the whole thing is folly because he never planned to run twice. The plan was always to get in and ride Kamala Harris. And if you go back to 1989, Gerald Ford's interview, he said that we have a woman president. He said, yes. He said a Republican or Democrat in office will either get sick or die. What happened to Biden Thursday? They claim he had COVID, which can't be possible because Biden was around everybody up there in Las Vegas. Up there,
he was vaccinated, right?
That's what I said, Bianca. He vaccinated.
He said if you vaccinated, you won't get
and he ain't had no mask on, so that was all game. He ain't no mask on at first when he got on that plane. They say he at home self-isolating right now. Wait, I hate to tell you this, but Jobs even Jobs can tell you this. If you got mild symptoms, you can come to work now. So why Biden self-isolate? That go to show you that was all a play to get him out the way. The same thing Gerald Ford said. That's how you're going to get your woman vice president or president for a temporary time. That's all we've been playing out in 1989, man.
Well, Biden knows something.
Yeah, he not going to leave. He not going to let her
He knows something. And he in the
he
position
can't leave
where
until January 25th. He didn't resign like Nixon did.
Yeah, he didn't resign. That's what I'm saying. He didn't resign, right?
Nixon resigned. He had to leave immediately. He did like Johnson did. He did like Johnson did in '68.
Bishop.
Johnson stayed president until 1969, January the 20th.
You're right. Biden knows something, and he's bargaining what he knows for something. That's what he's doing. He said, y'all want me to leave, you have to pay me. And you're going to have to go along with what I want. So you got those factions that's working within the United States government that's influenced by foreign interests. That's what the whole thing is. It's your foreign interest. The money you send to Ukraine comes back around through organizations and whatever and ends up into the coffers of these candidate campaigns coffers. Once that money gets there, it can be used however they want to. This case in point, look at Jefferson, Louisiana.
That's the end. I hear the music. That's the end of the show.
Bianchi, what you think of this song, man?
Victor, what's wrong with your audio?
Yeah, Victor low.
What time is it? It's
Am
8 o'clock.
You real low.
You're not low, but the music is. The music's low, not you. Oh, Ray Charles.
Bishop, if you're going to talk about Project 25, you need to list those things. So
I am. I got it already. I'm ready for Wednesday. I'm ready. I got the whole thing. I got it all done.
Because actually, what I heard, some of this stuff is good. But anyway.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about it all.
All right, well, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I'm going to eat.
Good night, Brian.
Okay, y'all. Okay.
Everybody, y'all have a good night.
I think it was a good show. Good show.
Oh, yeah.
I think Teresa said it was great. She said it was great. The volume was good. Everybody was heard clearly. Everything was good. I enjoyed the show. Good conversation as always, Victor.
Yeah, I was getting texts, but people couldn't get in.
Yeah, we'll work on that. We're gonna work on some things. We're gonna work on some things. Find out from like I said, call my boy. Yeah. Okay, Victor.
All right, Bishop.
Okay.
Take
Talk to you
care.
later.
Have a blessed evening.
You do the same.